The German Shepherd's teeth were inches from the boy's throat.
They said they'd kill you.
Ranger down, down. Detective Jake Morrison's voice cracked as he yanked the leash with both hands. The dog wouldn't listen. He never disobeyed, not once in 7 years. The boy collapsed against the wall, sobbing. His backpack hit the floor. Something inside rattled. That sound made Ranger lose his mind. Everyone thought the dog had snapped, that he'd finally cracked under the pressure. But when the X-ray technician looked at her screen, her face went white. "Oh my God," she whispered. "That's not possible." What Ranger detected in that bag wasn't just contraband. It was a heartbeat. Before we dive into this incredible true story, I need to ask, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. I love seeing how far these stories reach. Now let's find out what happened next. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Gate 47. Monday morning. Business as usual. Until it wasn't. Ranger hit the end of his leash so hard, Jake stumbled forward. The dog's 70-pound frame became a missile aimed at one target, a skinny kid in a Star Wars hoodie standing third in the TSA line. Ranger heel. Jake's boots scraped tile. What the hell? But the Belgian Malinois was done listening. His bark exploded through the terminal like a gunshot. Once. Twice. 3 times. The boy froze. He couldn't have been more than 9 years old. Shaggy brown hair. Freckles. A faded Avengers backpack hanging off one shoulder. His eyes went wide as dinner plates. "I didn't..." His voice shook. "I didn't do anything." Ranger lunged again. Jake's shoulder wrenched as he planted his feet. The leash burned through his gloves. "Sir, control your animal." A TSA agent rushed over, hand on his radio. "You're scaring the passengers." Jake's jaw clenched. He's never done this before. Well, he's doing it now. The kid stumbled backward. His backpack slipped. He grabbed for it, hugging it against his chest like a shield. That's when Ranger went ballistic. The dog's bark changed, deeper, desperate. The kind of sound Jake had only heard twice before, once in Kandahar, when they'd found an IED buried in a schoolyard, and once in Detroit, when Ranger had detected a kidnapped girl locked in a storage unit. This wasn't aggression. This was warning. "Everybody back!" Jake's voice cut through the chaos. "Now!" Passengers scattered. A woman grabbed her toddler. An elderly man knocked over his coffee. Cell phones appeared, recording everything. The boy pressed himself against a pillar, tears streaming down his face. "Please make him stop. Please. I don't know what I did wrong." Jake's gut twisted. The kid looked terrified. Genuinely terrified. But Ranger was never wrong. "Son," Jake said, keeping his voice steady, "I need you to set that backpack down." "No." The boy's fingers dug into the straps. "It's mine. My dad gave it to me." "I'm sure he did, but you can't take it." The kid's voice cracked. "It's all I have left of him." Something in those words made Jake pause. All I have left. 2 more TSA agents arrived, hands hovering near their belts. Behind them came airport security, then a supervisor. Within 90 seconds, they had a perimeter forming. Jake held up one hand. "Give me a minute." "Sir, we need to..." "I said give me a minute." He locked eyes with the boy. "What's your name, son?" The kid hiccuped. "Tyler." "Tyler. I'm Detective Morrison. This is Ranger." Jake crouched lower, bringing himself to eye level. "Ranger's a good dog. The best I've ever worked with. And right now, he's trying to tell me something about your bag." "There's nothing in it." Tyler's voice dropped to a whisper. "Just my Game Boy. And my dad's dog tags." "Your dad's..." Jake stopped. "Is your dad military?" Tyler nodded, fresh tears spilling over. "Marines. He died 6 months ago. Kabul." The words hit Jake like a fist to the chest. He'd been Army himself, 2 tours. He knew exactly what that hollowed-out look in Tyler's eyes meant. Ranger whined. Not a bark this time. A whine. His nose pressed toward the backpack nostrils flaring. "Tyler," Jake said gently. "Did anyone else touch your bag today? At home in the car?" "Just my mom." Tyler wiped his nose with his sleeve. "She packed it last night. She said don't open it until I get to Grandma's house." Red flag number 1. "Where's your mom now?" "She's parking the car. She dropped me at the curb and said check in without her. She'd meet me at the gate." Tyler's voice shook. "But she should be here by now. She promised." Red flag number 2. Jake exchanged glances with the TSA supervisor. The woman's expression had changed from annoyed to concerned. "Okay, Tyler." Jake kept his voice soft. "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick look inside your bag, just to make sure everything's safe. Then I'll help you find your mom. Deal?" "You promise you won't lose my dad's tags?" "I promise." Tyler's shoulders sagged. Slowly he lowered the backpack to the floor and stepped away. Ranger's entire body went rigid, his ears pinned back. A low growl rumbled from deep in his chest. The TSA supervisor pulled on gloves. "Everybody stay calm." She knelt beside the bag, unzipped the main compartment, reached inside. "Game Boy," she announced, setting it aside. "Charger, granola bars, comic books." Her hand went deeper. "Jacket, water bottle, and—" She stopped. Her fingers had found something else, something wrapped in a towel at the bottom of the bag. "What is it?" Jake asked. She didn't answer, just carefully lifted the bundle out, set it on the floor, unwrapped the towel one fold at a time. Inside was a metal container, cylindrical, about the size of a thermos. But it wasn't a thermos. It was a military-grade transport case, the kind used to carry biological samples, or worse. "Oh, Jesus!" the supervisor breathed. "Is that—" "Don't touch it." Jake's voice went ice cold. "Nobody touch anything." He grabbed his radio. "This is Morrison Badge 472. I need bomb squad and hazmat at Gate 47. Possible explosive device. Clear the entire concourse. Now." The words "explosive device" hit the crowd like a grenade. Screaming erupted. Passengers bolted in every direction. Security tried to maintain order, but panic spread too fast. Tyler's face went white. "What? No, that's not. I don't know what that is." "Stay behind me." Jake pulled the boy back, keeping himself between Tyler and the container. Ranger barked 3 times, sharp, deliberate, his alert signal. But something was off. The dog wasn't backing away. He was moving closer, whining, pawing at the ground near the container. "Ranger, back!" Jake yanked the leash. The dog ignored him. He lowered his head, pressing his nose against the metal case. Then he did something Jake had never seen before. Ranger laid down, placed his head on his paws, and stayed perfectly still. That wasn't an explosive alert. That was a medical alert. Jake's blood ran cold. "Oh God, there's something alive in there." The TSA supervisor's hand shook as she reached for her radio. "We need paramedics, now." "What do you mean alive?" Tyler's voice pitched up. "What's in my bag? What did my mom put in there?" Before anyone could answer, a voice cut through the chaos. "Tyler! Tyler!" A woman shoved through the security line. Late 30s, blonde hair in a messy ponytail, yoga pants and an oversized sweater. Her eyes were red-rimmed and wild. "Oh, thank God." Tyler tried to run toward her. "Mom, they think I—" "Ma'am, stop right there." An officer blocked her path. "That's my son. Let me through." Jake studied her face, the trembling hands, the way her eyes kept darting to the backpack, to the container, to the exits. She knew. She knew exactly what was in that bag. "Ma'am," Jake said carefully, I need you to stay calm and tell me what your son is carrying." The woman's face crumpled. "I didn't have a choice. You don't understand. They said they'd kill us. Both of us. I had to." Her voice broke into sobs. "I'm so sorry, Tyler. I'm so sorry." Tyler's world was crumbling. Jake could see it in the kid's eyes, the confusion, the betrayal, the fear. "Mom, what did you do?" She couldn't answer, just collapsed against the security barrier sobbing. Jake's radio crackled. "Bomb squad is 3 minutes out." "Tell them to bring a medical team," Jake said, "and someone from narcotics." "Narcotics? I think we've got a mule situation." He looked down at Ranger still lying perfectly still beside the container. "But not the kind we're used to." The hazmat team arrived first. 3 people in full protective gear, looking like they'd walked off a sci-fi movie set. They approached the container with scanners and sensors. "No radiation," one announced. "No chemical signatures," said another. The third tech knelt beside the case, pressed a stethoscope against the metal. Everyone held their breath. "I've got a heartbeat," she said. "Faint but steady, approximately 140 beats per minute." Tyler made a choking sound. "What?" The tech looked up at Jake. "Sir, there's a living creature inside this container." "What kind of creature?" "Based on the heart rate, I'd say human. Infant-sized." The terminal went dead silent. Jake's mind raced. Human trafficking. Had to be. But transporting a baby through airport security in a kid's backpack. That was insane. That was... "Open it," he said. Carefully. The tech's hands shook as she twisted the seal. A hiss of pressurized air escaped. She lifted the lid. Inside, wrapped in thermal blankets, was the smallest baby Jake had ever seen. Barely breathing. Skin too pale. Lips tinged blue. "Jesus Christ," someone whispered. The paramedics lunged forward. Within seconds, they had the infant out oxygen mask on, vitals being checked. "Premature," one medic announced. "Maybe 28 weeks. Severe hypothermia. We need to move now." They rushed past the baby barely visible in their arms. Jake turned on Tyler's mother. His voice was granite. "Start talking. Now." The woman was shaking so hard she could barely stand. "They said my husband had debts. From before he died. Gambling debts. $20,000. She gulped air. "They came to my house last week. Said I could work it off. Just carry one package, one time. They said it was medicine. I swear I thought it was medicine." "Where did you get the baby?" "I don't know. They gave me the container this morning. Said put it in Tyler's bag. Send him through security alone. They said kids never get checked. And Tyler?" Her voice broke. "Tyler looks so innocent." Jake's fists clenched. They'd used a dead Marine's son as cover, used a grieving widow's desperation, and used a dying infant as cargo. "Who's they?" he demanded. "I don't know names, just a phone number, a voice. He calls himself..." Her eyes went wide. She was staring at something over Jake's shoulder. Jake spun around. A man in a business suit was walking toward them. Calm, unhurried. He had a phone to his ear and a carry-on bag in his other hand. To anyone else, he looked like just another traveler. But Jake noticed his eyes. Cold. Calculating. Locked directly on Tyler's mother. The man lowered his phone. His lips moved silently. "You failed." Tyler's mother started screaming. "No, please, I tried. I did everything you said." The man's hand moved toward his jacket. "Gun!" Jake roared. Everything exploded into chaos. Ranger surged forward. Jake drew his weapon. Security guards scattered. The man's hand came out. Not with a gun, with another phone. He pressed one button, smiled, and dropped it on the floor. The phone started ringing. The screen displayed a single word. Boom. Jake's heart stopped. Then Ranger did something extraordinary. The dog bolted past the man, past the phone, straight toward the baggage carousel behind them. He started barking at a black roller suitcase moving along the belt. "That's not his bag," someone shouted. "That belongs to—" The suitcase started beeping. "Clear the area!" Jake grabbed Tyler, yanking him toward the exit. "Everybody out now!" People stampeded, screaming, trampling. Pure panic. Jake ran carrying Tyler like a football. Behind him, bomb squad techs sprinted toward the carousel. They had maybe 90 seconds. Jake burst through the terminal doors into blinding sunlight. He threw himself and Tyler behind a concrete barrier just as nothing. No explosion, no boom, just silence. Jake lifted his head. Tyler was sobbing against his chest. Ranger appeared beside them, panting, tail wagging. The dog looked proud of himself. "False alarm!" A voice crackled over the radio. Device was a fake, just a speaker and a timer, meant to cause panic. Jake's legs nearly gave out. A diversion. "Sir, the baby, the bomb threat, the panic." Jake pulled Tyler to his feet, scanning the crowd. It was all a diversion. For what? That's when Jake saw them. 3 men in maintenance uniforms pushing a large equipment cart toward the tarmac. Moving fast. Too fast. The cart's wheels made a strange sound too heavy for empty equipment. And one of the men kept looking back over his shoulder. Jake's eyes locked with the man's. Recognition flashed. The man in the business suit from before, now in coveralls. He smiled, waved, and disappeared through a restricted door. "Son of a bitch," Jake breathed. He grabbed his radio. "All units, we have suspects fleeing toward the runway. 3 males in maintenance gear with a loaded equipment cart. Consider them armed and dangerous." But even as he said it, Jake heard the roar of engines. A private jet was taxiing toward the runway, moving fast, too fast. By the time airport security reached the tarmac, the plane was already lifting off. Jake stood in the chaos holding a traumatized 9-year-old boy, watching the jet disappear into the clouds. Ranger sat beside him, ears perked, staring at the sky. "What just happened?" Tyler whispered. Jake didn't have an answer, but he knew one thing for certain. Whatever they'd just stumbled into, whatever operation had just used a dying baby as a distraction and a dead Marine son as an unwitting accomplice, it was bigger than anything he'd ever seen. And they'd only scratched the surface. Behind them, paramedics were loading Tyler's mother into an ambulance. The baby was already en route to the hospital, fighting for life. And somewhere in the sky, 3 men were escaping with whatever they'd really come for. Jake pulled out his phone, dialed a number he hadn't called in 5 years. "Morrison." The voice on the other end sounded surprised. "I thought you retired from federal work." "I need a favor, Marcus. Big one." "What kind of favor?" Jake watched the jet become a speck on the horizon. The kind that involves the FBI, Homeland Security, and probably Interpol. He paused. "I just let the biggest catch of my career fly away, and I need your help to bring them back." Silence. Then, "I'm listening." Jake looked down at Tyler. The kid was staring at his empty hands where his father's dog tag should have been. They were still in evidence bags inside the terminal. "I'll explain everything," Jake said into the phone. "But first tell me something. What do you know about black market organ trafficking?" Another pause. "Why?" "Because I think we just found the tip of a very ugly iceberg." Jake's jaw set. "And I think that baby in the ambulance, she's not the first. And unless we do something right now—" He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Ranger nudged his hand. The dog's brown eyes were serious, alert, ready. Whatever came next, they'd face it together. But as Jake stood there in the aftermath of the chaos, one question burned in his mind. If the baby was the distraction, what the hell did they actually steal? The hospital smell hit Jake before the doors even opened. Antiseptic. Fear. Death wrapped in sterile white sheets. Tyler hadn't spoken in 20 minutes. Just sat in the back of Jake's SUV, staring at nothing, holding Ranger's collar like a lifeline. "You don't have to go in," Jake said quietly. "You can wait with Ranger." I want to see her. Tyler's voice was hollow, empty. The baby. I want to know she's okay. Jake's chest tightened. 9 years old and already carrying guilt that wasn't his to bear. He knew that weight. Had carried it himself since Kandahar. None of this is your fault, son. My backpack. My bag. Tyler's fingers dug into Ranger's fur. She almost died because of me. She almost died because of the people who used you. There's a difference. But Tyler wasn't listening. He was already out of the vehicle walking toward the entrance, like he was heading to his own execution. Inside the ICU, Nurse looked them over with tired eyes. You're the officer who brought in Baby Doe. Detective Morrison, this is Tyler. Jake hesitated. He's involved in the case. The nurse's expression softened. She's stable. Critical, but stable. Doctor says another hour in that container, and... She stopped herself, glancing at Tyler. You saved her life. Both of you. Tyler's jaw trembled. Can I see her? Family only, sweetheart. Please. The kid's voice cracked. I need to know she's real. That she's okay. Please. Something in his desperation must have reached her because the nurse sighed and nodded. 5 minutes. And you have to scrub in first. They followed her through a maze of corridors. Tyler kept his hand on Ranger's back the whole way, even though technically the dog wasn't allowed inside. Nobody had the heart to stop him. The NICU was quieter than Jake expected. Just the rhythmic beeping of monitors and the soft whoosh of ventilators. The nurse led them to an incubator in the corner. The baby was so small she barely looked real. Tubes and wires connected to machines that were keeping her alive. Her chest rose and fell in tiny, rapid movements. Tyler pressed his hand against the glass. Hi, he whispered. I'm Tyler. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry they hurt you. A sob caught in his throat. Jake put a hand on his shoulder. She's going to make it, the nurse said gently. Because of you. Remember that. Tyler didn't respond. Just stood there, tears streaming down his face, apologizing over and over to a baby who couldn't hear him. Jake's phone buzzed. Marcus. He stepped away. Tell me you have something. More than something. That jet you saw tail number links to a shell corporation out of Cyprus. 3 layers deep, but I cracked it. Registered owner is Dmitry Volkov. Jake's blood went cold. The Dmitry Volkov. The one and only, Russian mob, specializes in high-end trafficking, organs, weapons information. If it's illegal and profitable, he's got his fingers in it. What the hell was he doing at a regional airport in Pennsylvania? That's the question, isn't it? Marcus paused. I pulled security footage from the past 6 hours. Your 3 suspects in maintenance uniforms. They accessed the cargo hold of an Air France flight that landed at 6 a.m. Manifest says it was carrying medical supplies for a pharmaceutical conference in Philadelphia. But the weight doesn't match. Cargo bay should have held 4,000 pounds. Actual weight was 4,600. Someone loaded an extra 600 pounds of something that isn't on any official record. Jake's mind raced. They swapped cargo. Used the baby as a distraction, caused a bomb scare, then grabbed the real target in the chaos. Exactly. And here's where it gets worse. The pharmaceutical company that shipped those supplies front organization. Dissolved 2 hours ago. Websites down. Phone numbers disconnected, like it never existed. What was in those crates, Marcus? Working on that. But I've got Interpol looping in, and they're interested. Very interested. Apparently Volkov's been on their radar for 3 years. They've connected him to at least 15 missing persons cases across Europe. All women. All between 18 and 25. All disappeared without a trace. Jake glanced back at Tyler, still standing vigil at the incubator. And the baby? No hits in any database, no missing persons reports, no hospital records. It's like she doesn't exist. Someone knows who she is. Someone had to give birth to her. Could be a trafficking victim. Could be worse. Marcus's voice dropped. Jake, this is bigger than airport security. This is Homeland FBI, maybe even CIA if it crosses certain lines. You need to step back and let the feds handle it. Can't do that. Why the hell not? Because there's a 9-year-old kid next to me whose mother just got arrested, whose father's dead, and who thinks he almost killed a baby. Someone needs to see this through. For him. Silence on the line. Then Marcus sighed. You always were a stubborn son of a bitch. I learned from the best. Fine, but you're not doing this alone. I'm coming to you, and I'm bringing a team. How fast can you get here? 2 hours, maybe less. In the meantime, do not engage. Do not investigate. Do not do anything except stay with that kid and keep your head down. Understand? Jake understood. He also knew himself well enough to know he wouldn't listen. 2 hours. He agreed and hung up. The nurse was talking to Tyler, explaining the baby's condition in simple terms. Stable but fragile. But fighting but not out of danger. Tyler nodded along, but Jake could see he wasn't really processing, just surviving minute by minute. Ranger whined softly. His ears perked toward the corridor. Jake's hand went to his weapon. What is it, boy? The dog's hackles raised. A low growl rumbled from his chest. Someone was coming. Jake moved in front of Tyler instinctively. His eyes scanned the hallway through the glass partition. A man in scrubs approached pushing a medication cart. Nothing unusual. Except Ranger's growl was getting louder. Nurse, Jake said quietly. Do you recognize that orderly? She looked up, frowned. We don't have any male nurses on this shift. The man in scrubs reached the NICU door. Swiped a badge. The lock clicked open. Jake's instincts screamed. Get Tyler back, now. The nurse grabbed Tyler's arm, pulling him toward the far corner. Jake stepped forward, hand on his holster. The man entered. His eyes swept the room, landing on the incubator, then on Jake. Recognition flashed on both sides simultaneously. It was one of the men from the maintenance crew. Same cold eyes. Same calculated expression. You're not hospital staff, Jake said evenly. The man smiled. Neither are you. His hand moved fast. Not toward a weapon, toward a syringe in his pocket. Jake's gun came up. Don't move. You won't shoot, not in a hospital, not with all these babies around. The man's accent was thick, Russian. You're a hero. Yes, heroes don't risk innocent lives. Try me. The man took a step toward the incubator. Just walk away, detective. This doesn't concern you anymore. Everything about this concerns me. Another step. The syringe came out, clear liquid inside. Ranger launched himself forward with a snarl that shook the windows. The man spun. His arm came up to block. Ranger's jaws clamped down on his wrist. The syringe flew across the room, shattering against the wall. The man screamed, tried to pull free. Ranger held on 70 pounds of pure protective fury. Hospital security burst through the door. 3 guards, all looking confused and overwhelmed. Detain this man, Jake ordered. He's attempting to harm an infant. But the man wasn't fighting anymore. He was laughing. Blood dripped from his wrist where Ranger's teeth had punctured skin, and he was laughing. Too late, he choked out. Always too late. What are you talking about? The man's eyes rolled back. His body convulsed. Foam appeared at the corners of his mouth. Shit, he's seizing. One of the security guards lunged forward. Jake grabbed his arm. Don't touch him. Chemical exposure. The man collapsed. His breathing turned ragged. Then stopped entirely. Within 90 seconds, he was dead. The nurse shielded Tyler's eyes, but the kid had already seen. Already understood. Death had become familiar to him over the past 6 months. Jake stared at the body. Cyanide capsule. Had to be. Hidden in a tooth or cheek. The man had killed himself rather than be captured. "What the hell is going on?" a security guard demanded. Jake's mind spun. A suicide agent meant serious organization, military-grade discipline. This wasn't street-level crime. This was something else entirely. His phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. "Morrison? Detective Morrison." A man's voice, smooth, accented. "My associate seems to have failed in his mission." Jake's grip tightened on the phone. "Who is this?" "You know who I am, just as I now know who you are. Former Army intelligence. 2 tours in Afghanistan. Silver Star recipient. Quite impressive." "Volkov." A soft chuckle. "So you've done your homework. Good, that saves time. What do you want?" "What I came for. What your canine friend interrupted at the airport. But don't worry, detective. I'm a reasonable man. I'll give you a choice." Jake's jaw clenched. "I'm listening." "The child in the incubator. She's, let's say, valuable. More valuable than you can possibly understand. I need her back." "Not happening." "Then I'll need the other one." Jake's blood froze. "What other one?" "Come now, detective, did you really think there was only one baby the mother gave birth to twins? And your little Tyler. He's currently standing about 15 feet from baby number 2. Jake spun around. Tyler was still in the corner with the nurse, safe, protected. But his eyes. Jesus, his eyes were locked on something. Another incubator. On the far side of the room. A baby Jake hadn't noticed before because he'd been so focused on the first one. "How?" His voice caught. "I have eyes everywhere, detective. Cameras, informants, employees who value money more than morals. I know where you are. I know where the children are. And I know you can't protect them both. Watch me." Brave words. But in approximately 90 seconds, 2 of my associates will enter that NICU. They will take one or both infants. You can try to stop them. You can draw your weapon. You can be a hero. Volkov's voice hardened. But every second you waste fighting my men is a second those children are in danger. And I promise you, detective, they will not hesitate to use lethal force. You son of a... 80 seconds. Choose wisely. The line went dead. Jake's radio crackled. All units, we have a code black in the NICU. 2 armed suspects approaching from the east stairwell. Time slowed down. Tyler was looking at him. Ranger was on alert. The nurse's face had gone pale, and 20 feet away, 2 babies who didn't even have names were about to become casualties in a war they didn't understand. Nurse hit the emergency lockdown. Now. She fumbled for the panic button. Red lights flooded the hallway. Steel doors began sliding shut at both ends of the corridor. But they weren't fast enough. 2 men appeared, not in scrubs this time, in tactical gear, masks, gloves, weapons holstered but visible. They moved with military precision. One went left, one went right. Flanking the room, Jake positioned himself between them and the incubators. This is over. Security's already on the way. Security takes 3 minutes to reach this floor, the first man said. American accent. Ex-military Jake would bet his badge on it. We only need 45 seconds. The second man reached the first incubator. Started disconnecting monitors. Alarms screamed. The baby's vitals spiked. Stop! The nurse lunged forward. You'll kill her! The man shoved her aside. She hit the floor hard. Tyler screamed. Leave her alone. Jake's gun came up. Center mass on the first target. Last warning. Step away from the infant. You won't shoot. Not with the kid here. Not with 2 babies in the crossfire. He was right, and they both knew it. The man at the second incubator had already detached the baby, was wrapping her in a blanket, moving toward the door. Jake had seconds to make an impossible choice. Shoot and risk a firefight with children in the room. Or let them take the baby and track them later. Then Tyler did something extraordinary. The kid grabbed a metal tray from the nearby cart and hurled it with everything he had. It caught the first man in the head with a solid crack. The man stumbled. His hand went to his weapon. Ranger didn't need a command. He was already moving. Hit the man like a freight train. Jaws locked on the gun arm before the weapon cleared leather. The second man turned, fumbled with his own pistol. Jake fired once. The round hit the wall 6 inches from the man's head. Warning shot. Drop it. The man froze, calculated his odds, looked at his partner screaming on the floor with a 70-pound attack dog attached to his arm. He dropped the baby back in the incubator and raised his hands. Smart choice, Jake breathed. Hospital security burst through the doors. 4 guards this time, then 6. Then police sirens wailed outside. Within 3 minutes, both suspects were in custody. The babies were safe. Tyler was shaking but unhurt. Jake's legs nearly gave out. He grabbed the wall for support. Detective? The nurse touched his arm. Are you okay? No. His voice was raw. I'm really not. His phone buzzed again. A text this time. Unknown number. Impressive. But this was just the opening move. The game has only begun. And detective, next time I won't be so generous. Next time I won't warn you. I'll just take what's mine. Below the message was a photo. Tyler's house. The porch light on. The front door slightly ajar. Someone had been inside. Jake's blood turned to ice. Tyler, does your grandmother live alone? The kid nodded. Why? Call her. Right now. Tell her to lock the doors and not open them for anyone. Tyler's hands shook as he pulled out his phone. Dialed. Waited. No answer. He tried again. Still nothing. She always answers, he whispered. She always picks up when I call. Jake grabbed his radio. This is Morrison. I need units dispatched to... He looked at Tyler. What's the address? Tyler rattled off a street number in a small town 40 miles away. 40 miles. Jake's mind raced. How long have you been at the airport? Mom dropped me off at 7 this morning. I was supposed to fly out at 9, but then... Tyler's voice faded. Wait, Grandma doesn't live in Pennsylvania. She lives in Maryland. What? She moved last month, after Grandpa died. She said Pennsylvania had too many memories. Jake's stomach dropped. Then why was your ticket to Pennsylvania? Tyler's face went white. I don't know. Mom booked everything. She said Grandma wanted me to come visit the old house one more time before she sold it. The pieces clicked together with horrible clarity. There was no grandmother waiting in Pennsylvania. There never had been. Tyler's mother had booked him on that flight for one reason: to smuggle the baby through security. The story about visiting family had been a lie. Everything had been a lie. She sold me out, Tyler said hollowly. My own mom sold me out. She was scared. People make bad choices when they're scared. She used me. Like I was a tool. Like Dad's memory was just... His voice cracked. She didn't even say goodbye. Jake crouched down, met Tyler's eyes. Listen to me. What your mother did was wrong. Completely wrong. But she did it because bad people threatened you. She thought she was protecting you by going along with them. She made a terrible choice, but her reasons... Don't defend her. Tyler's jaw set. Dad would never have done this. He would have fought. He would have called the police. He wouldn't have... The tears came hard and fast. I want my dad. There was nothing Jake could say to that. Nothing that would make it better. So he just pulled the kid into a hug and let him cry. Ranger pressed against Tyler's legs, whining softly. The nurse stood nearby, her own eyes wet. What happens to him now? Child services, Jake said quietly. Foster care until they sort out custody. No. Tyler's voice was muffled against Jake's shoulder. Please. I can't go to strangers. I can't. I'm sorry, son. I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. Tyler pulled back. His eyes were red but determined. You could take me. Just for tonight. Just until they find someone else. Tyler, I'm not... Please, Ranger trusts you. and Ranger's never wrong. The kid's voice broke. Please don't send me away. Not today. Not after everything. Jake looked at the nurse, at the sleeping babies in their incubators, at the two suspects being dragged away by police, at his phone screen still showing that photo of Tyler's house. Somewhere out there Volkov was watching, waiting, planning his next move, and Jake had just become personally invested in stopping him. Okay, he heard himself say. One night. But then we do this by the book. Understand? Tyler nodded so hard, Jake thought his neck might snap. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Marcus called back. Jake, we've got a situation. Another one. Tyler's mother. She's asking to speak to you. Says she has information about the operation. Says she'll only talk to you, and only if you bring Tyler. Absolutely not. That kid's been through enough. She says if she doesn't see him, she won't talk. And without her testimony, we've got nothing that ties Volkov to this directly. The suspects we arrested will lawyer up. The dead guy can't talk. And that baby is still a Jane Doe with no legal identity. We need her statement, Jake. Find another way. There is no other way. She's the only witness who can connect the dots. And the DA says if she cooperates, they might drop some charges. Give her a chance at reduced sentencing. Jake looked at Tyler. The kid was playing with Ranger's ears, trying to look brave and failing miserably. I'll ask him, Jake said. But if he says no, that's final. Understood. Jake hung up, took a breath, sat down next to Tyler. Your mom wants to see you. Tyler's hands stilled. No. She says she has information that could help catch the people who did this, but she'll only talk if you're there. Then she won't talk. Tyler's voice was cold. I don't care. Tyler, she lied to me. She put a dying baby in my backpack. She almost got me arrested. She almost... His voice hitched. I'm never speaking to her again. Jake understood that feeling. Had felt it himself once toward someone he'd trusted. Sometimes betrayal cut so deep it couldn't be stitched back together, but sometimes justice mattered more than pain. What if she can help us save other kids? Other families, Jake said quietly. What if her information stops Volkov from doing this to someone else? Tyler was quiet for a long time. Ranger rested his head on the kid's lap, big brown eyes looking up at him. Finally, Tyler spoke. Will you stay with me the whole time? Every second. And Ranger? He goes where I go. Tyler took a shaky breath. Okay. But I'm not hugging her. And I'm not saying I forgive her, because I don't. Fair enough. They left the hospital 30 minutes later. Ranger in the back seat. Tyler staring out the window. Jake driving through city streets that suddenly felt hostile and full of watching eyes. His phone buzzed. Another text. Touching. The hero and his little sidekick. But tell me, Detective, are you prepared for what comes next? Because I am. And unlike you, I don't have rules holding me back. Jake deleted the message without responding, but his hand stayed on his weapon the entire drive. And in his rearview mirror, he could have sworn he saw the same black sedan following them for 3 miles before it disappeared. The game had begun, and Jake was starting to realize he had no idea what the rules were. The county jail smelled like desperation and disinfectant. Jake kept his hand on Tyler's shoulder as they walked through security. The kid hadn't said a word since they'd left the hospital. Just stared straight ahead like he was walking toward his own execution. Ranger pressed against Tyler's leg. The guard at the checkpoint frowned. No animals allowed inside. Jake flashed his badge. He's a certified service dog, part of an active investigation. It was a lie, but the guard didn't push it, just waved them through with a tired nod. Tyler's mother sat in interview room 3, orange jumpsuit, no makeup, hair pulled back in a messy bun. She looked 10 years older than she had that morning. When the door opened and she saw Tyler, her face crumpled. Baby. Her voice broke. "Oh God, baby, I'm so sorry." Tyler's jaw tightened. He didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there with Ranger pressed against his side. "Tyler, please, please look at me." "I am looking at you." His voice was ice. "I'm looking at someone I don't recognize." She flinched like he'd slapped her. "I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But you have to understand. I don't have to understand anything." Tyler's hands balled into fists. "You put a baby in my backpack, a dying baby, and you sent me through airport security like I was a drug mule. They said they'd kill you." Tears streamed down her face. "They came to our house. They knew where you went to school. They knew your bus route. They knew everything. They said if I didn't do exactly what they told me, they'd take you, and I couldn't—" Her voice dissolved into sobs. "I couldn't lose you too. Not after your father. Dad would be ashamed of you." The words landed like a knife. Jake saw it in her face, the way her eyes went hollow, the way her breathing stopped. "I know," she whispered. "I know he would." Jake pulled out a chair, sat down across from her. "Mrs. Patterson, we need to know everything. Names, locations, how they contacted you, how the operation works." She wiped her eyes with shaking hands. "I don't know much. They kept everything compartmentalized. I only knew my part." "Start with how they found you." 2 weeks after David died. Her voice was mechanical now, detached. "Man showed up at the door. Said David owed money. 20,000 from a poker game in Kabul. I told him David never gambled. He laughed, said it didn't matter whether he did or not. The debt existed, and now it was mine." "Did you call the police?" "He said if I called anyone, Tyler would disappear. He showed me photos of my son, at school, at baseball practice, at his friend's house. He knew everything." Tyler's face had gone pale. Jake squeezed his shoulder. "What happened next?" "He gave me a phone. Burner. Said someone would call with instructions. 3 days later they did. Said I could work off the debt. One job, one package. Get it through airport security, and I'm clear. They told you it was medical supplies. They told me it was temperature-sensitive medication for sick children overseas, experimental treatment that wasn't approved in the US yet. They said TSA would confiscate it if they found it, so it had to be hidden, had to look innocent." She looked at Tyler. "I swear I didn't know it was a baby. I didn't know until I saw the news, until I saw what happened at the airport." "Bullshit." Tyler's voice shook. "You knew that container was too heavy for medicine. You knew something was wrong." She didn't deny it, just looked down at her hands. Jake leaned forward. "Who gave you the container?" "I don't know his name. Hispanic guy, mid-30s, tattoo of a cross on his neck. He came to the house at 5 a.m., handed me the case, told me to put it in Tyler's bag, told me to send Tyler through security alone. Said if I did anything else they'd know. They were watching." "Where were you supposed to go after—" "I wasn't. I was supposed to drive away, go home, wait for the phone to ring telling me the debt was paid." Her voice cracked. "But I couldn't leave him. I parked the car and came back. I had to make sure Tyler was okay, and then I saw the police and the ambulance, and I knew—" She buried her face in her hands. "I knew I'd destroyed everything." Jake's phone buzzed. Text from Marcus. "DNA results back on baby doe. You need to see this." He stood. "I'll be right back. Tyler, stay here." "No." Tyler's voice was firm. "I'm coming with you. Son, you should talk to your mother. I have nothing to say to her." The kid's eyes were hard, determined. Jake recognized that look. He'd seen it in the mirror after his own father had let him down. 5 minutes, Jake said. "Then we leave." He stepped into the hallway, called Marcus. "What have you got?" "The baby's DNA is in the system. She's a match to a missing persons case out of Baltimore. Mother disappeared 3 months ago. Rebecca Chen, age 22. Chinese-American, nursing student. Walked out of her apartment one night and never came back." Jake's stomach twisted. "She was pregnant when she disappeared." Medical records show she was 8 weeks along. Family didn't even know until we ran the DNA. Marcus paused. Jake, there's more. Rebecca Chen isn't the first. We've got 6 other missing women in the tri-state area. All pregnant, all disappeared in the last year, all Asian or Eastern European. He's targeting specific ethnicities. Looks like it. And here's the kicker. Every single one of these women had the same OBGYN. Dr. Sarah Whitmore. Runs a fertility clinic in Philadelphia. Jake's mind raced. He's using a doctor to identify targets. That's the theory. FBI's getting a warrant for the clinic right now. Should have access to records within the hour. I'm coming to you. Where are you? Bureau office downtown. But Jake, you need to leave the kid somewhere safe. This is about to get federal and dangerous. He stays with me. That's not protocol. I don't give a damn about protocol. That kid's already been used once. I'm not letting him out of my sight until Volkov's in custody. Silence. Then Marcus sighed. You're going to get both of us fired. Wouldn't be the first time. Jake hung up, turned back toward the interview room. Through the glass window, he could see Tyler standing rigid while his mother reached toward him. The kid stepped back, out of reach. Jake's heart ached. He knew that distance. That wall you build when someone you love betrays you. It took years to tear down. Sometimes it never came down at all. He pushed open the door. We need to go. Wait. Mrs. Patterson stood. Please. I need to tell him something. You've said enough. Please. Her voice was desperate. Tyler, baby, listen to me. Your father wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. He had demons. But he loved you more than anything in this world. And every single day I wish he was here instead of me, because he'd know what to do. He'd know how to keep you safe. And I... Her voice broke. I failed you. I failed him. I failed everything that mattered. But I need you to know that everything I did, every terrible choice I made, I did because losing you would kill me. Because you're all I have left of him. Tyler's lip trembled. You already lost me. The words hung in the air like smoke. Mrs. Patterson collapsed back into her chair, sobbing, broken. Tyler turned and walked out without looking back. Jake followed. In the hallway, Tyler's facade cracked. He leaned against the wall chest, heaving fighting tears. I hate her, he choked out. I hate her so much. No, you don't? Yes, I do. You hate what she did. There's a difference. Jake crouched down. My old man let me down too. Worst moment of my life. I told myself I'd never forgive him. Carried that anger for 10 years. You know what it got me? Tyler shook his head. Nothing. Just wasted time. Because he died before I could figure out that being angry at someone doesn't hurt them. It hurts you. Jake put a hand on Tyler's shoulder. Your mom made a terrible mistake. Unforgivable maybe. But she made it because she loves you. That doesn't excuse what she did. But it explains it. What if I can't forgive her? Then you can't. And that's okay too. But don't let her mistake become yours. Don't let this turn you into someone your dad wouldn't recognize. Tyler wiped his eyes roughly. I miss him so much. I know, son. I know. Ranger nuzzled Tyler's hand. The kid buried his fingers in the dog's fur. Can we go now? Tyler's voice was small. I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah, let's go. They made it to this parking lot before Jake's phone rang again. Unknown number. He answered. Morrison? Hello again, detective. Volkov's voice was smooth as silk. That was quite touching. The mother-son reunion. Very emotional. Jake's blood ran cold. How did you? I told you. I have eyes everywhere. The guard at the front desk, mine. The janitor mopping the floors. Mine. The lawyer who walked past you in the hallway. Also mine. Volkov chuckled. You're operating in my world now, detective. And in my world, nothing happens without my knowledge. Jake scanned the parking lot. No one suspicious. No obvious threats. But that meant nothing. What do you want? I want what I came for, the children, both of them. Not happening. Then I suppose we'll have to escalate. Volkov's tone hardened. Check your email, detective. I've sent you a video. Consider it motivation. The call ended. Jake pulled out his phone, opened his email. The most recent message had no subject line, just an attachment. He clicked it. The video showed a woman tied to a chair, mid-20s, Asian, bruised, terrified. A man's hand appeared holding a newspaper. Today's date visible. Rebecca Chen, Volkov's voice narrated. Mother of baby doe number 1, still alive. For now. Jake's throat closed. You have 12 hours, detective. Return the children to me and Rebecca lives. Refuse and... The sound of a gunshot. Rebecca's scream. Well, you understand consequences. The video ended. Tyler had seen it. His face was sheet white. That's the baby's mom. Jake didn't answer. Couldn't answer. His mind was spinning. Volkov had Rebecca, which meant he'd had her all along. The baby hadn't been abandoned. She'd been stolen. Ripped from her mother's arms and used as bait in whatever sick game Volkov was playing. And now he had 12 hours to choose between saving one life or two. His phone buzzed. Marcus. We got the warrant. Heading to the fertility clinic now. You coming? On my way. Jake looked at Tyler. I need you to do exactly what I say. No questions. Can you do that? Tyler nodded. Get in the car. Stay low. Don't look at anyone. And keep Ranger close. They drove in tense silence. Jake kept checking his mirrors. 3 cars back, a black sedan maintained pace. Could be paranoia. Could be surveillance. He took a sudden right turn. The sedan followed. Left at the next light. Sedan stayed with them. Buckle up, Jake said quietly. Why? Just do it. He punched the accelerator. The SUV surged forward. Tyler grabbed the door handle. Ranger braced himself in the back. Jake wove through traffic, cutting between cars, running a yellow light. The sedan kept pace, matching every move. Someone's following us, Tyler whispered. I know. Jake's mind raced. He couldn't lead them to Marcus. Couldn't lead them to the FBI. But he couldn't lose them either without confirming their identity. He made a decision, slammed on the brakes, cranked the wheel hard. The SUV spun 180 degrees in the middle of the street. Now they were facing the sedan head-on. Jake hit the gas, played chicken with whoever was behind that windshield. The sedan swerved at the last second. Jake caught a glimpse of the driver. Young, male, panicked. He grabbed his radio. This is Detective Morrison. I need units on my location. Black sedan license plate. He rattled off the numbers. Vehicle has been following me for 6 blocks. Possible connection to federal investigation. 3 minutes later, 2 patrol cars appeared. Boxed in the sedan, pulled the driver out. Jake kept Tyler in the SUV, walked over with his badge out. The driver was maybe 25, sweating, shaking. Who are you working for? Jake demanded. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I wasn't following nobody. Jake grabbed his collar. Try again. Okay. Some guy paid me $500, said follow the cop with the German Shepherd. Take pictures. Send them to a number. That's it. I swear. What number? The kid pulled out his phone with trembling hands. Showed Jake the contact. Just digits. No name. Jake memorized it. Took a photo. Who gave you the money? I don't know. He called me yesterday. Said he found my ad on Craigslist. I do gig work. Photography, surveillance, whatever pays. He said it was for a divorce case. Jake wanted to believe him. Wanted to think this was just some scared kid trying to make rent. But the timing was too convenient. You're coming with me, Jake said. What? No, man, I didn't do anything illegal. You participated in stalking a police officer. That's illegal enough. He had the patrol units take the kid into custody. Then he got back in the SUV and drove. Tyler hadn't said a word. Just sat there pale and quiet while Ranger licked his hand. "Are we in danger?" Tyler finally asked. Jake wanted to lie, wanted to tell him everything would be fine. But the kid deserved honesty. "Yeah," he said quietly. "We are. Because of me. Because of bad people doing bad things, not because of you. But if I hadn't—" "Stop." Jake's voice was firm. "You didn't do anything wrong. You were used. There's a difference." Tyler went quiet again. After a long moment, he spoke. "My dad used to say something. When things got scary, he'd say fear is just your body getting ready to fight. That being scared means you're still alive, still have something worth protecting." Jake's throat tightened. "Your dad was a smart man." "Yeah." Tyler's voice cracked. "He was." They reached the FBI office 20 minutes later. Marcus met them at the door. "Is that the kid?" "Tyler Patterson. He's with me." Marcus looked doubtful. "Jake, this is a federal facility. We can't just—" "He's a material witness and a target. He stays with me or I walk." Marcus sighed. "You're going to be the death of me. Get in line." Inside the office buzzed with activity. Agents on phones, computers displaying surveillance feeds, maps covered in red pins. Marcus led them to a conference room, spread files across the table. "Here's what we've got. Dr. Sarah Whitmore has been running her fertility clinic for 6 years. Specializes in high-risk pregnancies. International clientele. Very expensive. Very exclusive." "How does she connect to Volkov?" "Still working on that. But look at this." Marcus pulled out a financial report. 3 months ago, the clinic received a wire transfer for $2 million. Came from a shell company in the Cayman Islands. Same company that owns Volkov's jet. Jake's mind clicked. She's selling information, patient records, who's pregnant, ethnicity, due dates. That's our theory. And it gets worse. Marcus pulled up another file. 4 of the missing women. They all gave birth at the same hospital. Pennsylvania General. All had the same attending physician, Dr. James Coe. Let me guess. He's also connected to Volkov. More than connected. His younger brother is currently serving 15 years in a Russian prison. Fraud charges. Volkov has connections to the warden. If Dr. Coe cooperates, his brother gets better treatment. Maybe early release. Tyler spoke up. "So the doctor steals babies for Volkov. Why?" Marcus hesitated, looked at Jake. "Tell him," Jake said. "He deserves to know." Marcus sat down. "The babies are being sold, black market adoption, but not to people who want children, to people who need organs." Tyler's face went white. "What?" "Newborns, especially preemies. Their organs are valuable. Heart, liver, kidneys. They can be transplanted into sick children from wealthy families willing to pay millions." Marcus's voice was grim. "Volkov's not trafficking babies to save them. He's trafficking them to harvest them." The room went silent. Tyler looked like he might throw up. "The baby in my backpack. She was going to—" "We stopped it," Jake said firmly. "She's safe now." "But there are others." Tyler's voice was hollow. "That's what you're saying. There are other babies he already took. We're trying to find them." "How many?" Marcus and Jake exchanged glances. "How many?" Tyler demanded. "At least 8," Marcus said quietly. "Maybe more. We're still piecing together the records." Tyler stood abruptly, walked to the corner of the room, put his forehead against the wall. Ranger followed, sat beside him, waited. Jake's phone buzzed. Another text from Volkov. 10 hours remaining. Don't waste them." He wanted to throw the phone across the room, wanted to scream, wanted to put a bullet in Volkov's skull. Instead, he took a breath, focused. We need to move on the clinic. Now! FBI's already there. They served the warrant 30 minutes ago. Dr. Whitmore's attorney showed up in 20 minutes. She's not talking without immunity. Then give it to her. It's not that simple. The DA wants... I don't care what the DA wants. Jake slammed his hand on the table. We have 10 hours to find those babies. 10 hours before Volkov executes Rebecca Chen. We don't have time for legal negotiations. Jake, if we don't do this by the book, then we'll deal with the consequences. But those babies can't wait for paperwork. Marcus stared at him, then nodded slowly. Okay, I'll make the call. He stepped out. Jake sat down, put his head in his hands. Exhaustion was catching up. He'd been running on adrenaline for 12 hours. Hadn't eaten, hadn't slept. Tyler came back to the table, sat down. I want to help. You are helping, just by being safe. That's not enough. Tyler's jaw set. The same expression Jake had seen when the kid threw that metal tray at the hospital. Brave, determined, maybe a little reckless. I know I'm just a kid, but this is my fault. If I hadn't... Stop saying that. It's true. No, it's not. You were used. You were manipulated. You didn't choose this. Jake leaned forward. But you did choose to be brave. You chose to fight back. And right now, you're choosing to stay strong when most kids would be falling apart. That's helping more than you know. Tyler's eyes watered. I just want to save them. The babies. They deserve... His voice cracked. Everyone deserves a chance, even if my mom doesn't think she does. Jake's chest ached. This kid was 9 years old and carrying more weight than most adults could handle. Marcus burst back into the room. We got her. Dr. Whitmore's talking, and you're not going to believe what she just said. What? The babies aren't being harvested, not yet. Marcus was breathless. They're being held, at a facility outside the city. Volkov's waiting until they're older, 6 months, 8 months, when the organs are more developed, more valuable. Jake's blood ran cold. They're being raised for slaughter. Essentially, and here's the kicker. The facility is registered as a licensed daycare. State approved. Inspected quarterly. Everything looks legitimate on paper. Where? 45 minutes from here. Rural area. Big property. The place is called Little Angels Child Care Center. Jake was already moving. Get me a team, tactical, armed. We're going in now. Jake, we need to plan this. We need to move before Volkov figures out we know. If he even suspects we're coming, he'll disappear, and those babies disappear with him. Jake grabbed his jacket. I'm going, with or without backup. Marcus hesitated. Then he grabbed his own jacket. FBI is going to have my ass for this. Probably. Worth it. Jake thought about the baby in the incubator, about Rebecca Chen tied to that chair, about 8 other mothers somewhere out there not knowing if their children were alive or dead. Yeah, he said. It's worth it. Tyler stood. I'm coming too. Absolutely not. You said I was helping by staying strong. Well, I can't stay strong sitting in an office while you risk your life. Tyler's voice didn't waver. Besides, Ranger listens to me better than he listens to you. It was true, and they both knew it. Jake looked at Marcus. Tell me I'm not considering this. You're not considering it. You're absolutely not bringing a 9-year-old child to a tactical raid on a human trafficking operation. Jake looked at Tyler. At the determination in the kid's eyes. At Ranger sitting beside him protective and loyal. He made a decision he knew he'd probably regret. Fine, but you stay in the vehicle, no matter what happens. Understand? Tyler nodded. I mean it, Tyler. No matter what you hear, no matter what you see, You stay in that SUV with Ranger. You lock the doors. And you do not open them for anyone except me. I understand. Marcus shook his head. This is insane. Yeah, Jake agreed. But when has that ever stopped us? They left the office 20 minutes later. 3 vehicles, 10 agents, full tactical gear, and one 9-year-old boy with a police dog and more courage than grown men twice his size. The drive to Little Angels took 47 minutes, long enough for Jake to question every decision that had led to this moment, short enough that he didn't have time to change his mind. As they approached the facility, Marcus radioed. We've got movement. 3 vehicles in the parking lot. Lights on inside. Someone's home. Jake's hands tightened on the wheel. Remember, priority 1 is the children. Everything else comes second. Copy that. They parked a quarter-mile away, approached on foot through the woods. The facility was bigger than Jake expected. 2-story building. Playground equipment out front. Looked exactly like a legitimate daycare. Which was probably the point. Through the windows, Jake could see figures moving. Adult-sized. Armed. This isn't a daycare, Marcus whispered. It's a fortress. Jake's radio crackled. The SWAT team leader. We've got a problem. Thermal imaging shows approximately 30 people inside. 15 adults, 15 infants or small children. If we breach, there's going to be crossfire, with babies in the building. Jake closed his eyes. They couldn't wait, but they couldn't go in guns blazing either. Then he heard it. A baby crying, followed by another, and another, until the sound of crying infants filled the night air like a chorus of ghosts. Tyler's voice came through the radio. He'd been given a spare from the SUV. They're scared. The babies. They know something's wrong. Tyler, I told you to stay put. I can hear them crying. We have to help them. Right now. Jake looked at Marcus, at the building, at the armed men inside who wouldn't hesitate to kill anyone who threatened their operation. We need a distraction, Marcus said. Something to draw them out, split their forces. Jake's mind raced. Then he had an idea. A terrible, risky, absolutely insane idea. Tyler, he said into the radio, I need you to do something for me. Anything. I need you and Ranger to walk up to the front door, ring the doorbell, tell them you're lost, that you need help finding your mom. Silence. Then, are you serious? Completely. They won't suspect a kid. They'll open the door to help. And when they do, Ranger will go full protection mode. That's our distraction. That's when we breach. Jake, Marcus hissed. You can't use a child as bait. I'm not using him as bait. I'm using him as a Trojan horse. Big difference. That's insane. You got a better idea. Marcus didn't. Tyler's voice came back. Steady. Brave. I'll do it. For the babies. And for my dad. He'd do it. Jake's throat closed. You're sure? I'm sure. Then let's bring them home. Tyler's hands shook as he walked toward the building. Every step felt like walking through water. Heavy, slow, wrong. Ranger pressed against his leg. The dog's warmth was the only thing keeping Tyler from turning around and running back to the SUV. You got this, son. Jake's voice came through the earpiece, hidden in Tyler's collar. Just like we practiced. Lost kid. Scared. Need help finding your mom. Tyler nodded, even though Jake couldn't see him. His throat was so tight he could barely breathe. The building loomed ahead. Warm light spilled from the windows. He could still hear babies crying inside. The sound made his chest ache. He reached the front door. His finger hovered over the doorbell. Remember. Jake's voice was steady. Calm. Soon as that door opens, you step back. Let Ranger do his job. We'll be right behind you. Tyler pressed the button. A chime echoed inside. The crying stopped. Footsteps approached. Tyler's heart hammered so hard he thought it might break through his ribs. The door opened. A woman stood there, mid-40s, kind face, cardigan sweater. She looked like somebody's grandmother. Oh my goodness. Her voice was warm, concerned. Sweetheart, are you lost? Tyler's rehearsed words stuck in his throat. She looked so normal, so safe. For a split second, he wondered if they'd made a terrible mistake. Then he saw her eyes, cold, calculating, already scanning past him toward the woods. His voice cracked. I can't find my mom. We were driving and I got out to pee, and she left without me, and I don't know where I am. The woman's smile never wavered. Oh, you poor thing. Come inside. We'll call your mother. She reached for his arm. Ranger's growl started low, rumbling from deep in his chest. The woman's hand froze. That's a big dog you have there. He's friendly, Tyler lied. He just doesn't like strangers touching me. I see. Her smile tightened. Well, why don't you both come inside? I'm sure we can. Ranger lunged, not at the woman, past her, past a bed, into the building. His bark exploded like thunder, deep, aggressive. The sound Jake had taught Tyler meant one thing: threat detected. The woman stumbled backward. What the? Tyler ran, not toward the building, away from it, just like Jake had told him. Behind him, chaos erupted. Men shouting, dogs barking, glass shattering. Tyler hit the ground behind a tree, covered his head, tried to make himself as small as possible. Breach, breach, breach. Jake's voice roared through the radio. All units move in. Gunfire cracked through the night. Tyler's whole body flinched with each shot. He squeezed his eyes shut, tried not to think about Ranger inside that building, tried not to imagine bullets finding their target. Please be okay, he whispered. Please, 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 be okay. More gunfire. Shouting. A woman screaming. Then silence. Horrible, suffocating silence. Tyler's earpiece crackled. Tyler! Jake's voice was breathless. Tyler, you there? I'm here. Stay down. Don't move. We've got static. Hostage situation. They've got babies. Using them as more static. Back, fall back. Tyler's blood turned to ice. They were using the babies as shields. He heard more shouting, then a sound that made his stomach drop. A baby screaming, not crying. Screaming. The kind of scream that meant pain. Real pain. Tyler's body moved before his brain caught up. He was running toward the building. Not away from it. Toward it. Tyler, no. Jake's voice was frantic. Get back to the... Tyler ripped the earpiece out. He couldn't stop. Couldn't turn around. That baby was screaming and nobody was helping, and he couldn't just hide in the woods while children died. He reached the side door, the one the tactical team had breached. It hung open, smoke pouring out. Tyler dropped to his hands and knees, crawled inside. The smoke burned his eyes, his lungs. He pulled his shirt over his mouth and kept moving. Bodies on the floor. He didn't look at their faces. Couldn't look. Just crawled past them toward the sound of crying babies. A hallway, doors on both sides, some open, some closed. He tried the first closed door, locked. The second, also locked. The third door swung open. Inside was a nursery. 6 cribs. 5 had babies in them. Screaming. Terrified. 1 crib was empty. Tyler stumbled to the first crib. A tiny girl with dark hair, maybe 3 months old. He picked her up. She was so light, so fragile. It's okay, he whispered. I've got you. You're okay. She kept screaming. He looked around frantically. He needed help. Needed Jake. Needed anyone. Footsteps in the hallway. Tyler froze. Find the kid. A man's voice. Rough. Angry. The one with the dog. Volkov wants him alive. Tyler's heart stopped. They were looking for him. He backed into the corner, still holding the baby. 5 more babies in cribs. No way to carry them all. The door creaked open. A man stepped in. Tactical gear. Gun raised. His eyes swept the room and landed on Tyler. "There you are." Tyler pressed himself against the wall. "Don't hurt her, please. She's just a baby." The man's gun lowered slightly. For a second, Tyler thought he might have a conscience. Might let them go. Then the man smiled. "Volkov's going to love this. The hero kid. Walking right into our hands." He raised his radio. "I've got him. Northeast corner, 2nd floor nursery." Static. Then Volkov's voice. Smooth. Pleased. "Excellent. Bring him to me. And bring one of the infants. I think Detective Morrison needs proper motivation." The man stepped forward. Tyler backed up. Nowhere to go. Trapped. Then Ranger appeared in the doorway. The dog was limping. Blood matted his fur. But his eyes were clear. Focused. Locked on the man with the gun. "Nice doggy," the man said nervously. "Easy now." Ranger didn't bark. Didn't growl. Just launched himself forward with pure silent fury. The man went down hard. His gun skittered across the floor. He screamed as Ranger's jaws found his arm. Tyler grabbed the weapon. His hands shook so badly he nearly dropped it. "Tyler!" Jake burst through the door, took in the scene in half a second. The gun. The man on the floor. Ranger standing over him. "Oh, thank God." He pulled Tyler into a one-armed hug. "You scared the hell out of me." "I couldn't leave them." Tyler's voice shook. "They were screaming and nobody was helping and I couldn't—" I know. Jake took the gun gently from Tyler's hands. "But you can't run toward gunfire. You understand? You could have been killed." So could they. Jake didn't have an argument for that. Marcus appeared in the doorway with 2 other agents. "We've secured the 1st floor, but we've got a problem. Big problem." "What now?" "They've got Rebecca Chen. She's here, in the basement, and Volkov's down there with her. Says if we don't back off, he'll execute her and blow the building. Claims he's got explosives rigged throughout the foundation." Jake's jaw clenched. "Is he bluffing?" "Bomb squad's checking now. But we can't risk it. Not with 15 babies in the building." Tyler looked down at the infant in his arms. She'd stopped crying. Was staring up at him with huge dark eyes. Trusting. Helpless. "We have to get them out," Tyler said. "All of them. Right now." "We're working on it, son." "No." Tyler's voice was firm. "We're out of time. Volkov said 12 hours. How long has it been?" Jake checked his watch. His face went pale. 11 hours and 47 minutes. "Then we have 13 minutes. Tyler handed the baby to Marcus. "Get them out. All of them. I'll buy you time." "What?" "No. Absolutely not. Volkov wants me, right? He said so. Bring the kid. Use him as leverage." Tyler's voice didn't shake. "So let's give him what he wants." "Tyler, you said my dad would be proud of me for being strong, for making hard choices." Tyler met Jake's eyes. "This is my choice. Let me make it." Jake stared at him. This brave, broken, impossibly courageous 9-year-old kid who'd been through more in one day than most people experienced in a lifetime. "I can't let you do that. You don't have a choice. If you don't bring me down there, he kills Rebecca. Then he blows the building. Then all these babies die." Tyler's voice cracked. "But if I go down there, maybe I can talk to him. Stall him. Give you time to get everyone out." "He'll kill you." "Maybe. Or maybe he'll want to negotiate. Either way, it buys you time." Marcus looked at Jake. "The kid's right. We need a distraction. Something to keep Volkov occupied while we evacuate. We are not using a child as bait. We're using a child as a hero." Tyler's jaw set. "There's a difference. You told me that yourself." Jake wanted to argue. Wanted to lock Tyler in the SUV and handle this himself. But the kid was right. They were out of options. Out of time. Out of everything except desperate choices. "Okay," Jake said quietly. but I'm going with you. Every step. And if anything goes wrong, anything at all, you run. Understand?" Tyler nodded. Marcus handed the baby to another agent. "Get them all out. Fast and quiet. We've got maybe 10 minutes before this goes sideways." They moved through the building like ghosts. Tyler flanked by Jake and Ranger, 2 more agents bringing up the rear. The basement stairs were narrow, dark. Each step creaked. At the bottom, a heavy steel door. Light seeped through the cracks. Jake pressed his ear against it. Voices inside. Volkov's smooth accent. Rebecca's quiet sobbing. "Last chance," Jake whispered to Tyler. "You don't have to do this." "Yeah," Tyler whispered back. "I really do." Jake pushed open the door. The basement was bigger than expected. Concrete floors, industrial shelving, and in the center, Rebecca Chen tied to a chair. Bruised, bloodied, but alive. Volkov stood behind her, one hand resting casually on her shoulder, the other holding a pistol. "Detective Morrison?" Volkov's smile was warm, friendly, like they were old acquaintances. "Right on time. And you brought the boy. How thoughtful." "Let her go," Jake said. "You've got what you wanted. We're here." "You're here. But do I have what I want?" Volkov tilted his head. "The children. Where are they?" "Safe. And that's where they're staying." "Pity." Volkov's finger tightened on the trigger. Rebecca whimpered. "Then I suppose we're at an impasse." "Wait." Tyler stepped forward, away from Jake, toward Volkov. "Don't hurt her, please. This is all my fault anyway." Volkov's eyes lit up with interest. "Is that so? If I'd been smarter, if I'd noticed the weight of my backpack, if I'd asked more questions." Tyler's voice shook, but he kept talking. "My mom wouldn't be in jail. That baby wouldn't have almost died. Rebecca wouldn't be." He looked at her. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. "Sweetheart, no. This isn't your fault." "But it is." Tyler's voice broke. "And I need to fix it." Volkov laughed. "Fix it? You're 9 years old. What could you possibly do to fix this?" "Let her go. Take me instead." The room went silent. Jake's hand went to his weapon. "Tyler, don't. Think about it." Tyler continued, his voice steadying. "She's just a regular person. But me, I'm the kid who stopped your operation. I'm the one the media's going to talk about. The brave boy who saved babies. I'm worth more to you as leverage than she is." Volkov studied him with cold, calculating eyes. "Interesting proposition. But what makes you think you're worth anything to me?" "Because you're not just a criminal, you're a businessman." Tyler took another step forward. "And businessmen don't waste resources. Rebecca's baby is safe. You can't get her back. But if you let Rebecca go, you've got me. And Detective Morrison won't risk my life. He'll give you what you want to keep me alive." Jake's chest tightened. The kid was trying to trade himself, actually trying to negotiate with a man who'd killed dozens of people. "You're clever," Volkov said softly. "Much cleverer than most adults I've met. Your father raised you well." "My father taught me to protect people who can't protect themselves." Tyler's voice was steady now. "So, I'm asking you, man to man. Let her go. Take me. End this before anyone else gets hurt." Volkov considered it. His finger relaxed on the trigger. "You know what I like you, Tyler. You've got courage, integrity, rare qualities these days." He released Rebecca's shoulder, stepped away from her. "You're free to go, Miss Chen." Rebecca's eyes went wide. "What? Leave now, before I change my mind." She didn't move, just stared at Tyler with tears streaming down her face. "Go," Tyler whispered. "Find your baby. Tell her I'm sorry I couldn't keep her warmer." Rebecca sobbed, tried to stand. Her legs gave out. Jake rushed forward, caught her, helped her toward the door. Volkov's gun swung toward Tyler. "Now then, let's discuss terms." "There are no terms." Marcus's voice came through the radio. "All civilians evacuated. Buildings clear. We've got clean shots on your position. Surrender now." Volkov smiled. "Ah, but you're forgetting something, Detective. The explosives." He pulled a detonator from his pocket. Dead man's switch. If he released it, the building would blow. "You're bluffing," Jake said. "Bomb squad swept the building. There's nothing here." "Are you sure about that?" Volkov's thumb hovered over the button. "Sure enough to risk the boy's life." Jake wasn't sure. Couldn't be sure. And Volkov knew it. "What do you want?" Jake's voice was tight. "Safe passage. A vehicle. 2 hours head start. And the boy comes with me. Insurance policy." "Not happening." "Then we all die here. Together." How poetic. Volkov's eyes were dead. Empty. Jake realized with horrible clarity that he meant it. He'd blow the building. Kill them all. Just to make a point. Tyler spoke up. "I'll go with you." "Tyler, no. But you have to promise something first." Tyler's voice was calm. Too calm. "Promise you'll let Detective Morrison and Ranger go. Promise you won't hurt anyone else. And promise that if I cooperate, you'll tell the police where the other mothers are. The ones you took. They deserve to know their babies are safe." Volkov studied him. "You drive a hard bargain for a child. My dad was a Marine. We don't surrender without terms." A ghost of respect flickered in Volkov's eyes. "Very well. You have my word. As long as you cooperate, no one else gets hurt. And I'll provide a location for the mothers." "Agreed." "Agreed." "No." Jake lunged forward. "Tyler, you can't." Ranger snarled. Blocked Jake's path. The dog looked at Tyler. Whined softly, like he understood what was happening. Tyler knelt down, wrapped his arms around Ranger's neck. "You're the best dog in the world," he whispered. "Take care of Jake. He needs you more than I do." Ranger licked his face, once, gentle. "Goodbye." Tyler stood, walked toward Volkov. Each step felt like crossing an ocean. Volkov grabbed his arm, pulled him close, pressed the gun against Tyler's temple. "Any sudden moves, Detective, and the boy dies. Understand?" Jake's hands shook with rage, helplessness. "I'll find you. I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth, and when I do, you'll do nothing, because I'll have disappeared, and the boy will be long gone." Volkov backed toward a door Jake hadn't noticed before. Service entrance. But who knows? Perhaps if you're very good, very obedient, I'll let him go. Eventually. They disappeared through the door. Jake started after them. Marcus grabbed his arm. "There are shooters in the hallway. You go through that door, you're dead." "I don't care." "Yes, you do. Because if you die, no one can save him." The words hit like cold water. Marcus was right. Getting himself killed wouldn't help Tyler. Jake's radio crackled. "We've got eyes on Volkov. He's heading for the north parking lot. Black SUV waiting. 2 more hostiles inside." "Block all exits," Jake ordered. "Set up a perimeter. He doesn't leave this property." He ran, up the stairs, through the building, Ranger at his heels. Outside, chaos reigned. Police cars, ambulances, FBI vans, agents running in every direction. Jake reached the north lot just as the SUV's engine roared to life. "Stop." He raised his weapon. "Let the boy go." The SUV's window rolled down. Volkov leaned out smiling. Tyler sat beside him, pale but alive. "Remember our deal, Detective. 2 hours. Then I'll contact you with instructions." Volkov's smile widened. "Unless, of course, you'd prefer I just kill him now." Jake's finger hovered over the trigger. 1 shot. That's all it would take. But Tyler was in the line of fire, and Jake couldn't risk it. The SUV peeled out, tires squealing. Jake lowered his weapon, felt his world collapsing. Marcus appeared beside him. "We'll find him. We've got helicopters, ground units, every cop in 3 states looking. We'll find him." But Jake wasn't listening. He was staring at the empty parking lot where Tyler had been just seconds ago. Ranger whined, pressed against Jake's leg. The dog was trembling. He knew something was wrong. Jake's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "You played well, detective, but I played better. In 2 hours I'll send coordinates. Come alone. Bring the children. Or the boy dies. Simple as that. Oh, and one more thing. Check your pocket." Jake's blood ran cold. He reached into his jacket pocket, pulled out a small object. A dog tag. Tyler's father's dog tag. The one that should have been in evidence. How did Volkov? Then, Jake understood. The woman. Tyler's mother. She'd palmed it during the interrogation, passed it to someone. An officer. A guard. Someone on Volkov's payroll. They'd been played from the beginning. Jake's knees nearly gave out. Marcus caught him. "We'll get him back, I promise." "How?" Jake's voice was broken. "How do we stop someone who's always 3 steps ahead?" Ranger barked. Once. Sharp. Determined. The dog was staring toward the woods, ears perked, nose twitching. "What is it, boy?" Ranger barked again. Started running toward the trees. Jake followed. Didn't know why. Just trusted the dog's instincts. 50 yards into the woods, Ranger stopped. Started digging. "What are you?" The dog uncovered something. A small electronic device. Blinking red light. GPS tracker. Jake's heart lurched. Tyler planted a tracker. He knew. He knew Volkov would take him. Marcus grabbed his radio. "All units, we've got a GPS signal. Tracking now." The signal started moving. Fast. Highway speeds. "They're heading east," an agent called out, toward the Maryland border. Jake was already running back to his SUV. Ranger jumped in. Marcus dove into the passenger seat. "Every second counts," Jake said. "He bought us this chance. We're not wasting it." The engine roared to life. They peeled out after the signal. Behind them, agents scrambled to follow. Helicopters lifted off, an entire task force mobilizing. But Jake knew the truth. By the time backup arrived, it might already be too late. Tyler had sacrificed himself to save everyone else. Now Jake had to return the favor, or die trying. The GPS signal moved faster. They were losing ground. Jake's phone rang. Volkov's voice was ice. "Did you really think I wouldn't check the boy for tracking devices?" Jake's stomach dropped. "What did you do?" "Me, nothing. Yet. But I did find something interesting in his shoe. A tiny little GPS chip. Clever boy. Too clever." Volkov's laugh was cold. "I left it on a truck heading to Baltimore. Enjoy your wild goose chase, detective. Meanwhile, we're heading somewhere much more interesting. Somewhere you'll never find us. Not in 2 hours. Not in 2 days. Not ever." The line went dead. Marcus looked at Jake. "He found the tracker." "Yeah." Jake's voice was hollow. "He found it." They'd lost him. Lost Tyler. And with him any chance of stopping Volkov. Jake pulled over, put his head on the steering wheel, tried to breathe through the crushing weight on his chest. Ranger whined, nudged Jake's arm. "I'm sorry, boy," Jake whispered. "I'm so sorry. I should have protected him better." The dog barked, not scared, not sad, insistent. Jake looked up. Ranger was staring at him with those intense brown eyes, the same look he'd had at the airport, the same look he'd had at the hospital. The look that meant he knew something Jake didn't. "What is it?" Jake asked. "What are you trying to tell me?" Ranger jumped out of the SUV, ran back toward the facility, stopped, looked back, barked again. "He wants us to follow," Marcus said. They followed the dog back through the woods, back to the building. Ranger led them to the basement, to the room where Volkov had held Rebecca. The dog sniffed around, searching for something. Then he stopped at a ventilation grate in the corner, started pawing at it. Jake pulled it open. Inside was a piece of paper, folded, covered in crayon. Tyler's handwriting. "If you're reading this, Volkov took me. But don't worry, I left something better than a GPS tracker. I left a clue. Remember what my dad's dog tag said? Not his name. The other side. The coordinates. He told me once they were the location of his favorite place in the world. The place he felt safest. I think that's where Volkov's going, because bad guys always think they're smarter than good guys, but sometimes they're not. P.S. Take care of Ranger, and tell my mom I don't hate her. I'm just really angry. Tyler." Jake's hands shook. He pulled out the dog tag, flipped it over. Coordinates etched into the metal. Latitude and longitude. Marcus was already typing into his phone. "Got it. It's a location in West Virginia, middle of nowhere. Old military base, decommissioned 15 years ago." "That's where he's taking him," Jake breathed. "That's where Volkov's operation is." He looked at Ranger. The dog's tail wagged. Proud, determined. "Good boy," Jake whispered. "Good boy." They ran for the SUV. Every second mattered now. Every minute could be the difference between life and death. As they drove, Jake made a promise. To himself. To Tyler. To the memory of a Marine who died protecting his country. He would find this kid. He would bring him home. And he would make Volkov pay for every life he'd destroyed, no matter what it cost, no matter how long it took. Because sometimes the only thing standing between evil and innocent lives was one man, one dog, and the unbreakable promise to never give up, never surrender, never leave anyone behind. Show more. The abandoned military base appeared through the darkness like a graveyard of broken promises. Razor wire, crumbling buildings, guard towers with no guards. Jake killed the headlights a mile out. The SUV rolled to a stop behind a cluster of dead trees. "Backup's 20 minutes away," Marcus said quietly. "We should wait." "Tyler doesn't have 20 minutes. Jake checked his weapon. Full magazine, one in the chamber. "You wait. I'm going in." "Jake." "That kid walked into hell to buy us time. I'm not leaving him there 1 second longer than necessary." Marcus stared at him, then nodded. "Okay, but we do this smart. No hero bullshit. We get in, we get Tyler, we get out. Understand?" "Understood." Ranger pressed against Jake's leg. The dog's eyes were locked on the base. Every muscle tensed. Ready. They moved through the darkness like smoke. Jake in front. Marcus covering. Ranger between them, silent as death. The perimeter fence was torn in 3 places. Easy access. Too easy. "It's a trap," Marcus whispered. "I know." Jake kept moving. "But what choice do we have?" They slipped through the fence, crossed 50 yards of open ground, reached the first building. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay. Graffiti covered the walls. Broken furniture littered the floor. Ranger's nose twitched. He pulled toward a stairwell leading down. Underground. Of course Volkov would go underground. Jake descended slowly. Each step creaked. His finger rested on the trigger. Every shadow could hide a threat. At the bottom, a long corridor. Doors on both sides. All closed except one at the far end. Light spilled from it. And voices. Volkov's smooth accent. "You're quite resourceful, Tyler." The note in the ventilation grate. "The coordinates on your father's dog tags. Very impressive." "My dad taught me to always leave breadcrumbs." Tyler's voice was steady, but Jake could hear the fear underneath. He said, "If you're ever in trouble, make sure someone can find you." Wise man. Pity he didn't teach you when to keep your mouth shut. A sound. Sharp. like a hand hitting flesh. Jake's vision went red. He surged forward. Marcus grabbed his arm. "Wait. We need to know how many hostiles are in there." Jake forced himself to breathe, to think. Marcus was right. Charging in blind would get them all killed. Ranger whined softly. The dog's body trembled with the need to act. "I know, boy," Jake whispered. "I know." Tyler's voice came again, stronger this time. "You can hit me all you want. Detective Morrison's already on his way, and when he gets here, you're finished." Volkov laughed. "Oh, I'm counting on him coming. In fact, I'm quite looking forward to it. You see, Tyler, this was never about the babies. Not really. It was about finding someone incorruptible, someone who couldn't be bought, someone who'd chase me to the ends of the earth." A pause. Someone exactly like Jake Morrison. Jake's blood ran cold. "See, men like Morrison are rare," Volkov continued. "They have something most people don't. A code, principles. They'd rather die than compromise what they believe in. And that makes them predictable, which makes them easy to manipulate." "You're wrong about him," Tyler said. "He's not predictable. He's a hero. Yes, I know. And heroes always come for the innocent, always sacrifice themselves for the greater good. It's what makes them heroes." Volkov's voice hardened. "It's also what makes them fools." Jake realized with horrible clarity what was happening. This wasn't about Tyler. It wasn't even about the babies. It was about him. Volkov had orchestrated everything. The airport, the hospital, the raid on the facility. All of it designed to bring Jake to this exact moment, this exact place. "But why Marcus?" Jake whispered. "This is wrong. Something's wrong." "What do you mean?" "Volkov wanted me here. Why? What does he gain?" Before Marcus could answer, his radio crackled. "All units, we've got a situation. Rebecca Chen is missing from protective custody. Last seen 20 minutes ago. Security footage shows she left voluntarily. Got into a black sedan." Jake's stomach dropped. "No." "What?" "Rebecca. She's not a victim. She's part of this." Marcus's face went pale. "That's impossible. We saw the video. She was tied up, beaten. Stage dressing. Think about it. Volkov let her go too easily. No fight, no negotiation. He just released her." Jake's mind spun. "Because she was never his prisoner. She's his partner." "But the baby was the perfect cover. Nobody suspects a mother whose child was stolen. Nobody questions her. Nobody suspects her." Jake's voice was urgent now. "Where's the backup?" Marcus radioed. "Command, this is Marcus. What's the ETA on those units? Static." Then a voice Jake didn't recognize. "Units are delayed. Vehicle malfunction. Estimate 45 minutes. 45? Marcus stopped. His eyes met Jake's. "That's not our dispatcher." "No," Jake said quietly. "It's not." They were alone. Completely alone. And everyone who knew where they were had been fed false information. Volkov had cut them off, isolated them, and now he had them exactly where he wanted them. "We need to leave," Marcus said. "Regroup. Come back with—" Tyler screamed. Not words, just a scream of pure pain. Jake was moving before he could think. Down the corridor, weapon up. Every instinct screaming this was wrong. This was a trap. This was exactly what Volkov wanted. He didn't care. He burst through the door. The room was empty except for a single chair. Tyler sat in it, hands zip-tied behind his back, blood dripping from his nose, but alive. Relief flooded Jake for half a second. Then he saw Tyler's eyes, wide with horror, staring at something behind Jake. Jake spun. Volkov stood in the doorway with Marcus, a gun pressed against Marcus's temple. "Thank you for coming, Detective. Right on schedule." Marcus's face was twisted with pain and shame. "Jake, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Sorry." Jake's voice was ice. "For what?" "For this." Marcus's hand moved. lightning fast, grabbed Jake's weapon, twisted it from his grip. Jake stumbled backward, confusion warring with betrayal. "Marcus, what?" "My brother," Marcus said quietly. "Remember I told you he was killed in Iraq? IED. I lied. He's alive, in a Russian prison. Has been for 3 years. And Volkov." His voice broke. "Volkov promised to get him out, promised to bring him home. All I had to do was help." Jake's world tilted. His oldest friend, his partner for 15 years, had sold him out. "How long?" Jake's voice was barely a whisper. "Since the beginning. The airport, the hospital, all of it." Marcus couldn't meet his eyes. "I'm the one who gave Tyler's mother the burner phone. I'm the one who delayed backup. I'm the one who led you here." Tyler was crying silently, tears streaming down his face. "I trusted you. We all trusted you." "I know." Marcus's hand shook. "I know, and I'm sorry, but my brother—" "Your brother's dead," Volkov said pleasantly. "Has been for 2 years. Prison fight. Very tragic." Marcus went white. "What? Did you really think I'd waste resources keeping him alive?" "He was leverage, nothing more. And now that I have Morrison—" Volkov shrugged. "I have no more use for you either." The gun in Volkov's hand swung toward Marcus. Jake moved on instinct, lunged forward, knocked Marcus aside. The shot echoed like thunder. Pain exploded in Jake's shoulder. Hot, searing. He hit the ground hard. Tyler screamed. "No, no, no, no!" Ranger burst through the door, all teeth and fury. He went straight for Volkov. The Russian tried to aim. Too slow. Ranger's jaws clamped on his wrist. The gun clattered to the floor. Volkov screamed, tried to shake the dog off. Ranger held on, growling, determined. Marcus scrambled for the fallen weapon. His hands shook so badly he could barely grip it. Jake forced himself up. His shoulder was on fire. Blood soaked through his shirt. But he was alive, still alive. "Marcus," he gasped. "Don't do this. It's not too late." "Yes, it is." Marcus's voice was hollow. "I betrayed you. I betrayed everything. For a lie. For nothing." He raised the gun. Jake couldn't tell if it was aimed at him or at Marcus himself. "You still have a choice," Jake said. "You can end this, right now. Do the right thing." "The right thing?" Marcus laughed bitterly. "I don't even know what that means anymore." Tyler's voice cut through, small, scared. "It means protecting people who can't protect themselves. My dad told me that. He said doing the right thing is hard. That's why most people don't do it, but that's also why it matters." Marcus looked at Tyler. At this brave kid who'd been used and betrayed and hurt, who still believed in doing the right thing. Something in Marcus's expression shifted. He turned the gun toward Volkov. "Let the dog go. Let them all go. This ends now." Volkov laughed. Even with Ranger's jaws locked on his arm, even bleeding and beaten, he laughed. "You think you're in control? You think any of you are in control?" He pulled something from his pocket with his free hand, a remote detonator. "I told you I had explosives. You thought I was bluffing." His thumb hovered over the button. "I wasn't." Jake's blood turned to ice. "Where?" "Everywhere. The hospital. The facility where we rescued the babies. The FBI office where your teams are coordinating. And here. Especially here." Volkov's smile was cold. "I've spent 2 years preparing for this moment. 2 years planting devices. 2 years ensuring that if I go down, I take everyone with me." "You're insane," Marcus whispered. "No, I'm thorough." Volkov's eyes found Jake. "You wanted to save everyone, Detective. You wanted to be the hero. Well, here's your chance. Press this button and everyone dies. Including you. Including the boy. But don't press it." He smiled. "And I walk away. Disappear. And you never know if I'm telling the truth. Never know if the bombs are real or just another bluff." Jake's mind raced. Was Volkov bluffing? Could he be? But what if he wasn't? What if there really were explosives in the hospital, in the facility full of rescued babies? He couldn't risk it. Couldn't gamble with innocent lives. "Let Tyler go," Jake said. "Let him walk out of here. Then we'll talk." No negotiations. Volkov's thumb pressed harder on the button. "Choose now. Let me go, or everyone dies." Tyler's voice was steady, clear. "He's lying." Everyone turned to look at him. "He's lying," Tyler repeated. "There are no bombs." "Tyler," Jake started. "Think about it. If he had bombs everywhere, why would he need me? Why would he need you? He'd just blow everything up and disappear." Tyler's eyes were sharp, focused. "He needs us alive. For some reason, he needs us alive." Volkov's smile faltered. Just for a second. That was all Jake needed to see. "Ranger," he commanded. "Hold." The dog's grip tightened. Volkov screamed. Jake launched himself forward, ignoring the pain in his shoulder, ignoring everything except getting that detonator. His hand closed over Volkov's wrist. They struggled, fell to the ground. The detonator skittered across the floor. Marcus dove for it, grabbed it, held it up. For a long moment, nobody moved, nobody breathed. Then Marcus looked at the device, really looked at it. "There's no power source, no antenna, no wiring." He looked up. "It's fake. It's a goddamn fake." Tyler had been right. Volkov had been bluffing all along. The Russian's face twisted with rage. He threw Jake off, reached for something at his ankle, a backup weapon. Ranger released his arm, went for his throat instead. The gun fired. Once, twice. Wild shots that hit nothing. Then Marcus fired. One clean shot. Center mass. Volkov's body jerked. The gun fell from his hand. He collapsed backward. Blood spread across his chest. His breathing turned ragged. "Should have pulled the trigger when you had the chance," he gasped. "Should have chosen violence over hesitation. That's where heroes always fail. Too much conscience. Too much—" His words dissolved into a wet cough. Then silence. Dmitry Volkov was dead. The room was silent, except for everyone's ragged breathing. Jake pulled himself to his feet, stumbled to Tyler. "You okay, son?" Tyler nodded, tears streaming down his face. I thought we were all going to die." "So did I." Jake used his good arm to cut through the zip ties. "But you figured it out. You saved us." "I was just guessing. Best guess I've ever seen." Tyler collapsed into Jake's arms, sobbing. All the fear and pain and terror of the past 18 hours finally breaking through. Jake held him. Let him cry. Let him be 9 years old and scared instead of brave and heroic. Marcus stood alone, the gun hanging loosely in his hand, staring at nothing. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry." Jake wanted to be angry, wanted to hate him, but all he felt was tired. "You made a choice, a bad one, but you made it right in the end. That has to count for something." "Does it? I don't know, but it's something to hold on to while you figure out what comes next." Marcus nodded, set the gun down carefully, put his hands behind his head. "I'll turn myself in. Confess everything. Whatever punishment they give me, I deserve it." "Yeah," Jake said quietly. "You probably do." Sirens wailed in the distance. Real backup this time. Probably too late to do any good, but at least they were coming. Jake sank to the floor. His shoulder throbbed. His entire body hurt. But Tyler was safe. The babies were safe. And Volkov was dead. It was over. Ranger limped over, covered in blood, some his own, some Volkov's, but his tail wagged. His eyes were bright. "Good boy," Jake whispered. "Best damn dog in the world." Tyler reached out, buried his hand in Ranger's fur. "Thank you. For saving us. For everything." Ranger licked his face. Gentle. Protective. The three of them sat there as footsteps thundered overhead, as FBI agents swarmed the building, as paramedics rushed in with stretchers and medical supplies. But for just a moment they sat together. A broken detective, a traumatized kid, and a loyal dog who'd never given up on either of them. 3 weeks later, Jake stood in front of the courthouse, his arm in a sling, Tyler beside him, Ranger at their feet. Inside, Marcus was being sentenced. 15 years for conspiracy, for aiding and abetting, for betrayal. Jake had testified, told the truth about everything, but he'd also told them about the end, about Marcus's choice to do the right thing, about the shot that killed Volkov. It hadn't changed the verdict, but maybe it had changed something else, some small measure of redemption. Tyler kicked at the sidewalk. "Do you think he'll be okay in prison?" "I don't know, son. I hope so." "I don't hate him. I thought I would, but I don't." "That's because you're a better person than most." Tyler was quiet for a moment. Then he looked up at Jake. "What happens to me now?" "Child Services said my mom's probably going to jail too, and I don't have any other family." Jake had been dreading this question, had been avoiding it for 3 weeks. "There are good foster families," he said carefully. "People who'd be lucky to have a kid like you. But not you." Jake's throat tightened. "Tyler, I'm a detective. I work long hours, dangerous cases. My life isn't stable. My dad was a Marine. He deployed for months at a time, and he was the best father in the world." Tyler's voice shook. "I don't need perfect. I just need someone who cares. Someone who won't give up on me." Jake looked at this brave, broken, impossibly strong kid. This 9-year-old who'd survived more in 3 weeks than most people survived in a lifetime. "You're right," Jake said quietly. "Your dad would have been proud of you, so proud." He took a breath. "And if he were here, I think he'd want you somewhere safe, with someone who'd protect you, who'd make sure you never felt alone again. Like you. Yeah, like me, if you want that. If you're okay with living with a grumpy detective and a dog who sheds everywhere, and a life that's probably going to be messy and complicated and—" Tyler threw his arms around Jake, buried his face in his chest. "Yes, yes, yes, yes." Jake held him, felt something in his chest crack open, something that had been closed for a very long time. "Okay then," he said. "Okay." Ranger barked. Once. Sharp. Approving. 6 months later, Jake stood in a different courthouse, this time for a different reason. The judge looked down at him. "Mr. Morrison, do you swear to provide for this child, to protect him, to give him a home for as long as he needs one?" "I do," Jake said. "And Tyler Patterson, do you accept Jake Morrison as your legal guardian?" Tyler's voice was strong, clear. "I do." The gavel came down. "Then by the power vested in me by the state of Pennsylvania, I declare this adoption finalized. Congratulations to you both." The courtroom erupted in applause, small but meaningful. FBI agents who'd worked the case, nurses from the hospital, Rebecca Chen holding her healthy baby girl, other mothers reunited with children they thought they'd lost forever. Tyler turned to Jake. His eyes were wet, but his smile was real. "Does this mean I can call you Dad?" Jake's vision blurred. "If you want to." "I want to." "Then yeah, son. You can call me Dad." They walked out of the courthouse together. A family now. Legal and official and real. Ranger trotted beside them. His limp was gone. His fur had grown back where it had been torn. He looked healthy, happy, whole. Jake's phone buzzed. A message from Marcus, his first contact since going to prison. Heard about the adoption. I'm happy for you both. For what it's worth, you'll be a better father than I ever could have been. Take care of each other. And Jake. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I gave up on myself. Jake didn't respond, didn't know what to say. Maybe someday they'd talk again. Maybe someday the wounds would heal enough. But not today. Today was about moving forward, about choosing hope over pain, about building something good from the wreckage of something terrible. You hungry? Jake asked Tyler. Starving. Pizza. With extra cheese. Is there any other kind? They climbed into the SUV. Ranger jumped in the back. Tyler buckled his seatbelt and immediately started fiddling with the radio. Jake smiled. This was his life now. Homework and soccer practice and parent-teacher conferences. Normal things. Good things. As they drove away, Tyler said, "Dad." The word still made Jake's chest tight. "Yeah, son. Do you think we'll ever have another adventure like that? Like the airport?" "God, I hope not." Tyler laughed. The sound was light. Free. The laugh of a kid who was finally safe. Finally home. "Me neither," Tyler said. "Once was enough." Ranger barked in agreement. And as they drove through the city toward their new life together, Jake made a silent promise. To Tyler. To himself. To the memory of a Marine who'd taught his son to be brave. He would protect this kid. Love this kid. Give him every chance to heal and grow and become the man his father would have wanted him to be. Not because he owed anyone anything. Not because he was trying to be a hero. But because somewhere along the way, this 9-year-old boy and this loyal dog had saved Jake just as much as he'd saved them. And sometimes, that's what family really means. Not blood, not obligation, but the people who show up, who stay, who choose each other every single day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. That's what Tyler's father had done. That's what Ranger did every day without question. And that's what Jake would do for the rest of his life. Because in the end, heroes aren't the people who never fall. They're the people who get back up, who keep fighting, who protect the innocent not because it's easy, but because it's right. And on that day at the airport, when Ranger had barked at a little boy with a backpack full of secrets, none of them had known where the journey would lead, what it would cost, what it would give them in return. But they'd walked through fire together. And they'd come out the other side, scarred, changed, but whole. And that was enough, more than enough. It was everything.